يصفون وجاءت سيارة فأرسلوا واردهم فأدلى دلوه قال يا بشرى هذا غلام وأسروه بداءة والله عليم بما يعملون وشروه بثمن بخس دراهم معدودة وكانوا فيه من الزاهدين صدق الله العلي العظيم اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد كما صليت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد اللهم بارك على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد كما باركت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. I've recited the verses of Surah Yusuf. Surah Yusuf is covering the story of Yusuf alayhi salatu wassalam. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is mentioning وَجَاءُوا أَبَاهُمْ إِشَاءً يَبْكُونَ. As you all know, I've mentioned that the brothers of Yusuf alayhi salatu wasalam, they took Yusuf alayhi salatu wasalam along with them with the excuse of running races, playing and having enjoyment. The father Yaqub alayhi salatu wasalam let Yusuf alayhi salatu wasalam go with the brothers. And eventually, because they were jealous of Yusuf alayhi salatu wasalam being very close to the father, and he was very beloved to Yaqub alayhi salatu wasalam, which they could not bear seeing. So they eventually decided to get rid of him and separate him from father, and they threw him in the well. After throwing him in the well, they came back home. Now it was a big task for them how to convince Yaqub alayhi salatu wasalam with regards to Yusuf, what happened to him. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, وَجَاءُوا أَبَاهُمْ إِشَاءً يَبْكُونَ. They came back to their father at nightfall crying. When they returned home, they were crying. Yaqub alayhi salatu wasalam, upon hearing their cry, he came quickly out and to see what's happening. He saw them crying, weeping. He said, what happened? Has the flock of your goats been attacked by the wolf? And when he looked around, he couldn't see Yusuf alayhi salatu wasalam. He said, where is Yusuf? He asked, where is Yusuf gone? Now the brothers, they made an excuse and they already thought of what to do. They said, Inna dhahabna nastabiku. They said, oh our father, we went running, racing. And we left Yusuf alayhi salatu salam with our luggage, our belongings. And then what happened, while he was there alone and we were just running here and there, we were racing with one another, a wolf came and ate him. Now Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is such a being, when he wants to do something, it is not impossible for him. And he does it in such a way that a person can never even think of it. And a person comes to a big shock that how can this happen? So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when he wants to do something, or when he wants to, just keep one thing in your mind, when Allah wants to humiliate someone, he can humiliate him while he is sitting at home in his four walls. It is not and complicated for Allah. It is not impossible for Allah. Allah wants, when He wants to do something, then He can do it there and then. Now here, they came, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, we left Yusuf alayhi salatu wasalam with our luggage, and they said, oh Father, you know what, you will never believe us, though we are telling the truth. They said to Father Yaqub, you will not believe us, though we are telling the truth, we are truthful, we are true in what we are saying to you, but we think you won't believe us. And then Allah is saying, وَجَاءُ عَلَى قَمِيصِهِ بَدَمٍ كَذِيبٍ. They came with his shirt stained with fake blood. Now here, when Yaqub alayhi salatu wasalam looked at the shirt and he looked at the sons, he saw the shirt undamaged, unscratched. You know what he said to his sons? He said, oh my dear sons, how wise this wolf was. He ate Yusuf alayhi salatu wasalam, but the shirt still remains undamaged. Now here Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wanted to expose their lie. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made them forget to do something that could have proved that really Yusuf alayhi salatu wasalam has been eaten up by the wolf. But they forgot, because Allah made them forget it. And Allah made them to become neglectful of this reality, this fact, that if they had torn the shirt, then this would have proved that really the wolf ate up Yusuf alayhi salatu wasalam, but they didn't do this because Allah made them forget, because Allah wanted to expose their lie. When Yaqub alayhi salatu wasalam saw at the shirt, it is not torn, it is undamaged, he said, فَصَبْرٌ جَمِيلٌ. Now patience is best. He knew they are lying. And he said, وَاللَّهُ الْمُسْتَعَانُ عَلَى مَا تَصِفُونَ. It is Allah whose help is sought against what you are describing and what you are mentioning to me. Now I'm going to do a sabr now. Here Yaqub alayhi salatu wasalam totally knew, my sons are lying. My sons are lying. And then he said to them, بَلْ سَوَّلَتْ لَكُمْ أَنفُسُكُمْ. Your own selves have made a tale. You know, you've made a story now. Now here Yaqub alayhi salatu wasalam, on two occasions in this story, he says this word, بَلْ سَوَّلَتْ لَكُمْ أَنفُسُكُمْ. Your own selves, your inner self has made this story, this tale. Now, second time he said this to them, when Yaqub alayhi salatu wasalam, when Yusuf alayhi salatu wasalam became king, and there was a drought in the Egypt, in Syria, and people were in shortage of food, and they found out that in Egypt there is a very kind king, and he is supplying food to the people. So Yaqub alayhi salatu wasalam sent his sons there, and when they reached there, Yusuf alayhi salatu wasalam recognized these are my brothers, and Binyamin was detained by Yusuf alayhi salatu wasalam. Now they come back to Yaqub alayhi salatu wasalam and reporting what happened to Binyamin, that he has been detained by the king. And at that moment, what he said, بَلْ سَوَّلَتْ لَكُمْ أَنفُسُكُمْ. Your own selves have made a tale, a story. Now, when he said it, when they came back with the fake blood, now here he was right in saying this. Here he was right in saying this. But in the second incident, when they came back from Egypt, reporting to the father that the brother has been detained by the king, he said the same thing. بَلْ سَوَّلَتْ لَكُمْ أَنفُسُكُمْ. Your own selves have made a story and a tale. Now over there, it was not true. They were right in saying that brother has been detained. And in this case, in this incident, they were wrong. They were lying. Now here they say, the ulama, the Ahl Tafsir, they say, this was the opinion of Yaqub alayhi salatu wasalam. It was his opinion. It was his opinion. In first time when he said this, when he expressed his opinion, he was right. They were lying. Second time, in the second incident, he expressed his opinion that you have made this story your own self. Now, at this moment, he was, in his opinion was wrong. The ulama, they say it is possibility, even a prophet, sometimes when in his opinion, he could turn out to be wrong. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does not let him remain with that wrong opinion. And through revelation, he is informed that your opinion is not right. And here, the ulama, they say, and Imam Qurtubi rahmatullah, he says, from this, there is a great hint here, that even the greatest of the great can be wrong in his opinion. So therefore, no person, no man of opinion or no woman of opinion should be proud of her or his opinion and should not be stiff with her or his opinion. One should listen to another person's opinion. Now we are living in a society, in a day and age, when one expresses his own opinion and other people, they may refuse, then he takes it as a personal thing. Here we learn that a person can be wrong in his opinion. One should not be stubborn that, no, my opinion is right and I'm not going to listen to other people's opinion. No, one should always suspect his opinion. I could be wrong in my opinion. Here, Yaqub alayhi salatu wasalam, he was a prophet of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. In one incident, he made an opinion, he expressed the opinion, he was right. In the second incident, he expressed his opinion, he wasn't right. So he said, now I'm going to do sabr. I'm going to do sabr now, and I will seek Allah's help, against what you are saying to me. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying that another thing, when they said that we went for racing. Now, we went running, racing. Now the ulama have taken a ruling here. What about running and racing? Racing of human beings or horse races, is this allowed in Islam? Now it is proved that our Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, on one occasion, he even participated in the racing of Sahaba Kiram. Because this racing, this jogging can become handy when time comes for believers to fight those who are enemies of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now here again, the horse racing, Hazrat Salma bin Aqwa radiallahu ta'ala anhu, our companion Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, once he had a horse racing with another companion and he won. So we should always remember, horse racing itself is jaiz, is permissible, but betting is not jaiz, it's a gambling. In this day and age, all the horse races, in whichever form they are, they're all gambling. So the brothers, they said, we went for a racing. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying that وَجَاءَتْ سَيَّارَةٌ, travelers who were traveling from Syria and they were heading towards Egypt, and they missed their route, and they ended up passing by this well, and they sent one of their men a water drawer. They asked him to go and fetch some water, and when he let his bucket down in the well, Yusuf alayhi already was sitting in the well on the rock. He had the rope, and when this man, his name is mentioned, Malik, when he pulled the bucket up, what he sees, a beautiful, handsome child. Our Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam in the hadith, he says, in the night of ascension, I met Yusuf alayhi salatu wasalam, and I've seen that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given him the beauty of the half of the world. This is how much handsome and beautiful he was. And the rest of the beauty has been distributed in the whole world. Just to imagine the beauty of the half of the world has been given to Yusuf alayhi salatu wasalam. So this child, how handsome, how beautiful he was. When Malik, when his gaze falls on Yusuf alayhi salatu wasalam's face, he just says surprisingly, Ya Bushara, this is a glad tiding, this is a boy. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, فَأَدْرَأُ قَالَ يَا بُشْرَى هَذَا غَلَامٌ أَصَبْرُهُ بِدَاءٍ. Now, first, he was surprised to see this handsome boy and he screamed out. But then later on he thought, why? Then he hid him as a merchandise. What does it mean? He thought, I shouldn't spread this news to everyone, to all my companions. What I could do, I can make him a slave and then I can sell him. Now, some ulamas, they say the interpretation of this word was sabruhu, they hid him as a merchandise. It refers to the brothers of Yusuf alayhi salatu wasalam. What does it mean? When they threw him in the well, and Yusuf alayhi salatu wasalam, he stayed in the well for 3 days. In these 3 days, every day, the big brother Yahuda, hiding himself from his other brothers, he would bring food for Yusuf alayhi salatu wasalam. Now, when it was the 3rd day, and the 3rd day when he comes and he sees Yusuf alayhi salatu wasalam is not there in the well, he quickly runs back and he tells the brother, look, I went to the well to see if what's happened to Yusuf. He's not there. So they all came running, searching for Yusuf alayhi salatu wasalam. Eventually they approached and they reached to those caravan, the traveler. Now the travelers, they said to the travelers, look, the boy which is with you, he is our slave and he escaped. He just fled and he ran. Now the travelers, they got scared. They thought, we might be charged of theft. So they said, okay then, would you sell this to us? This boy, this slave, you are saying he fled. So why not just do a deal? We will buy from you. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, look what Allah is saying. وَشَرَوْهُ بِثَمَنِ بَخْسٍ دَرَاهِمَ مَعْدُودًا. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying that they sold him for a very low price, for few silver coins. Now, وَقَالُوا فِيهِ مِنَ الزَّاهِدِينَ. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying the brothers, they were disinterested in him. What does it mean? That they sold Yusuf alayhi salatu wasalam for a very, very low price. And they had no interest in financial gain. Their main purpose was just to get rid of Yusuf alayhi salatu wasalam and just to separate him from the father. Their purpose was not to sell him and make money. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying they sold him for a very low price. They sold him. And if he refers to the travelers, it means they bought him for a very low price. How much they bought him for? They just bought him for 20 dirhams. Just on 20 dirhams. Why? Because the purpose of the brother was not to sell and make money. Their main purpose was just to get Yusuf alayhi salatu wasalam, which eventually they were successful. And now Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he says, Wallahu alim bima ya'malun. While all this was happening, while Yusuf alayhi salatu wasalam was taken from the father with the excuse of running, and they threw him in the well, and the travelers came, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala was fully aware of what all is happening. What the brother wanted to do, and Allah knew what the travelers are going to do with Yusuf alayhi salatu wasalam after buying from him. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala let all this happen. He let all this happen. Why? Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wanted to take Yusuf to a certain stage. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wanted to make him a king. So Allah wanted him to take there. So Allah used the travelers to take him to Egypt. And then over there they went and they sold him. And Ibn Kathir says, this verse is also a lesson to our beloved Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Why are you worrying of the hostility of your qawm, of your nation? Let them do what they are doing. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala let the Quraysh do what they wanted to do, and let them use their power. And then a time came that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam victorious. And the world saw the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, while having a very handful Jamaat and group with him, and he overtook, and he became victorious. So Rasulullah, so here Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioning the story of Yusuf alayhi salatu wasalam. While they were selling Yusuf alayhi salatu wasalam, They had no interest in money. All their interest was that we are getting rid of Yusuf alayhi salatu wasalam. While the trawlers were buying Yusuf alayhi salatu wasalam, they had no interest in Yusuf alayhi salatu wasalam. Their interest was, we will go in Egypt and we will sell him and we will make money. But they never knew who this child was. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept our sitting here. Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina wa Maulana.